Hello and welcome back to AI Headwinds. I'm Thomas Bennett, and today we're exploring something a bit more personal, what it means to own your work, your choices, and, well, your sense of agency in this age of AI. Now, last time we talked about the grid, the literal infrastructure that powers our digital world, but today we're zooming in right down to the individual, to the artist, to the worker. And I want to start with Hiro Isono. If you're not familiar, Isono was this quiet Japanese painter, spent decades painting forests, lush, vibrant, almost magical. He had his moment of fame with Secret of Mana in the early 90s, but then, instead of chasing the limelight, he went back to freelancing. On his own terms, that's the bit that sticks with me. He chose autonomy over fame, which, let's be honest, is a rare move these days. And then there's this whole debate about AI-generated art, especially when it tries to mimic the style of Studio Ghibli. You might remember the outrage online. People felt like something sacred was being lost. Hayao Miyazaki, the Ghibli legend, he's all about that human connection, the painstaking craft. He spends years drawing scenes by hand, obsessing over every detail. When AI comes in and spits out a Ghibli-esque image in seconds, it's not just about speed, it's about what's missing, the freedom, the purpose, the sense of ownership that comes from making something with your own hands. Actually, this reminds me of an art exhibit I visited not too long ago. They had these handcrafted pieces, paintings, sculptures, you name it, right next to AI-generated works. And you could see people pausing, really looking, trying to figure out what made one feel different from the other. There was this quiet conversation happening in the room, almost like everyone was asking themselves, what does it mean to truly own what you create? I mean, I'm not saying AI art can't be beautiful, but there's something about the process, the intent, that makes ownership feel real. Or maybe I'm just old-fashioned. Where was I going with this? Oh, right, agency. That's what we're really talking about here. So let's pull back a bit. Why do we work, really? I mean, beyond the obvious, paying bills, keeping the lights on. If you look at history, work used to be this local, hands-on thing. A weaver had her own loom. A carpenter knew every inch of wood he worked with. There was a kind of intimacy, a direct ownership. But then came the Industrial Revolution, and suddenly work was about efficiency, about fitting into a system. We gained a lot, higher incomes, more mobility, education, but we also traded away a bit of that autonomy. The work ethic shifted. It became about conforming, delivering, persisting. And honestly, that legacy is still with us. Even now, with AI in the mix, the message is often skill up or perish. It's like we're stuck in this output-obsessed mindset, just with fancier tools. There's this case study I always think about, the factory worker in the Industrial Revolution, regimented, every move dictated by the clock and the machine. Compare that to today's knowledge worker, juggling emails, prompts, and now AI-generated tasks. On the surface, it looks like we've got more freedom, but have we really? Or have we just swapped one set of constraints for another? I might be wrong, but sometimes it feels like the more efficient we get, the less we actually own what we do. It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? And yet beneath all these systems and ethics, Protestant diligence, Confucian devotion, Gandhian service, there's this ache to live a life that counts, to feel human, to exercise choice, to create meaning. Isono painted because it made him feel alive. Miyazaki draws by hand to capture something real. Thoreau built his cabin to ask, what if I own my days? It's not just about the work itself, but about the sense of agency, the ability to shape your own path, even if just a little. Now let's talk about where we're headed. AI isn't just doing what we do, it's starting to decide what gets done. That's a bit unsettling, isn't it? Max Tegmark calls this Life 3.0, where intelligence isn't bound by biology anymore. The risks are real. Job displacement, losing control over what matters, even the direction of our lives. But there's hope too. If we get this right, AI could actually free us. Not from work, but from meaningless work. It could give us back time, choice, a voice in what we do. Imagine if vocations became personal again, built on joy, depth, self-authorship. That's the optimistic view anyway. But here's the thing. Agency isn't just about freedom. It's about aligning your daily work with your deeper values, having meaningful choice, shaping your environment, instead of just reacting to it. It's not absolute, and it's not easy. Sometimes it's about choosing restraint over efficiency, deciding what not to automate, what to keep human. Miyazaki wouldn't race AI to make films faster. He'd keep crafting by hand, not out of nostalgia, but to preserve intent. In a world of instant generation, maybe the real act of ownership is choosing to slow down, to care. So how do we design our work and our lives to protect what's irreplaceably human? That's the big question, isn't it? I don't have all the answers, but maybe it starts with asking ourselves what we want to own, not just in terms of output, but in terms of purpose. What within us can't be replaced? Agency isn't inherited, it's something we have to exercise, own and protect. And as AI keeps evolving, maybe the most radical thing we can do is insist on meeting the world on our own terms. That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you'll join me next time as we keep navigating these headwinds together.